Hi, I'm Tom Marino. At CohnReznick, we believe that all citizens need to be informed about the issues that affect their daily lives. That's why we're proud to support the programming produced by Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Meridian Health, taking care of New Jersey, Felician College, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, CohnReznick, Accounting, Tax, and Advisory, where forward thinking creates results, Investors Bank, the New Jersey Education Association, and by the Ohlendorf Center.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to the Tisch WNET studios here in the heart of Lincoln Center. I want to introduce the star of stage and screen. She's recognized by all. She's Elizabeth Ashley. She's in You Can't Take It With You with James Earl Jones. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Did you just tell me before we got in there you love PBS?
Oh, God, yes. I mean, we were saying, how it takes, it takes time to scroll the sponsors and everything. And I mean, my response to that is anything that keeps PBS on the air and going is, like being kissed on the butt by God, Just please keep it up.
We're going to use that,
Oh, yeah?
In the next pledge drive.
Hey, okay.
Yeah. Earlier today, because we're taping here at our Tisch WNET studio, and we tape a whole range of people in a day. And we had Scott Ellis, your director, and you just said, you gave me that reaction. You said, oh, what makes him a great director?
I think Scott Ellis is old school in the best possible way. Number one, he knows what he wants. I mean, he's warm and witty and funny and personable, and he creates an atmosphere where actors are totally comfortable. Someone once asked Meryl Streep what she most wanted in a director, and she gave the best answer I've ever heard. She said, confidence. He's got an eye for detail, for the detail that tells the story, because he's about telling the story, and he comes in knowing the story he wants to tell.
Tell the story, Elizabeth, tell us a little bit, if you could, about this story, this play. What makes this play special, and then talk about your role.
Well, this play was done in 1936, and
you can't take it with you.
You can't take it with you, and that was the depth of the Depression. We were on the brink of World War, and in so many ways, the period in which this play was done parallels the period that we're in now. And when it was done, I think it would have been the equivalent of what we think of as early Neil Simon. It would have been just a gag fest in the best possible way, when people needed to laugh and feel good. And it is very subtly, it takes on class, it takes on capitalism, it takes on the government, but it in a very warm, witty, outrageously funny way, without a drop of sentimentality.
No sentimentality.
None
whatsoever. But you're the Grand Duchess. Isn't there any sentimentality there?
Not a bit.
Nothing?
Oh, not a bit of it. No.
Well, looking at that.
Yes, but please. Oh, there's not a drop of sentimentality there. No.
What's she all about?
Well, because at that period, because even when I first came to New York, like in 1958, right? I mean, doormen and waitresses, they were all like Russian immigrants, And I mean, of course, they would all, if you got to talking to them, tell you how, they were related to the Tsar and this and that. They all came from something very grand, and how iffy, right? I mean, she is just in the way Kaufman and Hart tell their story. I mean, it is first and foremost a story of family. Right? A family of nonconformists, of a bohemian kind of existence that stands opposed to conformity and sort of the sheep headset of society. And into this household come a variety of characters, many of whom have just sort of lived there, right? They just sort of move in. But along the way, they bring it, they're like vignettes, they're like cameos of people that pass through the lives of this family. And one of the characters in the play is a very bad ballet dancer, but she doesn't see it that way. And she has a Russian immigrant ballet teacher who has a friend who is a Russian Grand Duchess, cousin to the Tsar, who is a waitress.
That it right there?
Yes. No, that's the wonderful Annalie Ashford who plays Essie. And she longs to be a great ballerina.
But she's not great.
No, she has no talent whatsoever. She's just awful.
And James Earl Jones
he plays the grandfather. He's the one. Oh God! I mean,
fabulous.
Oh,
what's he like to work with?
He's a cultural icon. He was the only person in the play that I'd ever worked with before in The Best Man, and I mean James Earl Jones he's a national treasure. And he's a great actor. He's a magnificent man. And he's in this part, because we think of James playing the sort of extremely deep, dark, and there's nothing he can't play. But you've never seen him the way you see him in this play, you know.
Let me do this, because there's so many parts of your career that are so fascinating. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, many know you for that. I say that, what comes to your mind?
Tennessee Williams.
Big part of your life.
Oh, yes. Well, I grew up sort of borderline poor in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was the child of divorce. I lived with my mother. And then in the 40s and the 50s, I mean, that was not normal, you know. And my mother did everything that she could to broaden my mind and try and make me aware that there was a world of ideas. And Baton Rouge, Louisiana is where the university is. And so she took me to every play that LSU did. Whether they did it well or not was not the point.
You were going.
Oh, yes. And when I was about 9 or 10, she took me to see Summer and Smoke. And some penny dropped in my head, because it was the first time that I realized that I was seeing people on a stage saying and doing things that were going on in my house, in my world, but that were the secrets, the taboos, the things that nobody talked about. It was the like, don't let the neighbors know, don't even, you pretend it's not happening, whatever.
Were you hooked immediately? Tennessee Williams wrote that.
Yes.
Were you hooked immediately?
Well, on Tennessee Williams, yes. Then I wanted to see and read everything of his that I could. And I think that probably had a lot to do with my becoming an actress, because it was a world where the unsayable could be said, where the ideas that were heretical or taboo, the underbelly of your world could be shown in the light and could be thought about and talked about. And that's what appealed to me. I think I've always been a little bit of a heretic. I think it's in the DNA. Maybe it's being Southern, I don't know. And then, my career, I've been counted dead, down, over with, and finished so many times because
career-wise?
Oh, sure.
And just keep coming back?
Well, yeah, but I mean, mainly, because I was one of those people that was cursed blessed by becoming very sort of successful, sort of celebrated. Basically, that 5 minutes when you're just the newest Twinkie on the block, in about 5 seconds, and you're sort of on the cover of everything, and everybody tells you how wonderful you are. You become a commodity, and of course you believe it all, and then you find out it doesn't, not really true, and you sort of melt down, crack up, go nuts, and turn into some kind of a monster, and you run away or you buy into it, and it becomes a catastrophe one way or another. Some survive it, some don't. I quit. And then, of course, the time passed. I had a child, I got married, I got divorced. I had to then earn a living. And so I was desperately trying to get any kind of television job I could, because there's nothing more unemployable than movie stars' ex-wives, right? Which is what I was then. And I was beginning to get television work. I got a phone call that did I want to go to Connecticut to the American Shakespeare Festival at Stratford for like $250 a week and a barn, and do a revival of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And I mean, bottom line, making a long story short, I said yes, and I have Tuesday Well to thank, because they'd offered it to Tuesday, who turned it down.
And you took it.
Oh, God,
Changed your life.
Well, because Tennessee was there, and Stratford was like a rep company, and it was the last show in, so we had like 8-10 weeks of rehearsal, and Tennessee was there, and the remarkable thing was, it was his original version. What people don't realize, in 1955, when Cat on a Hot Tin Roof was first done, I mean, it was shut down for a day in Boston by federal marshals on a morals charge. Well, because...
risque.
Well, yes, and it dealt with homosexuality, conceivably, and stuff like that. And so Kazan kind of fixed it.
Elia Kazan.
Yes, who directed it originally. And Tennessee always had, he was never satisfied, because they sort of changed his ending. And so Tennessee never had one version of anything. I mean, there are 87 versions of everything he ever wrote. And the great Michael Kahn, who was artistic director at Stratford and who directed that production, unearthed. And Tennessee came with like bags and bags full of every version of every line he'd ever written. And Tennessee loved actors. And Tennessee he just loved being in rehearsals every day, and he'd give you 3 or 4 different versions. He'd say, well, you just read it to me, we'll find out which one we like the best. Well, I mean, it's like a gift from God.
Well, you know, this is the part, even in public broadcasting, where time becomes an issue, and I don't like that, even though we give more time and have more time than others. I could listen to you, I know our audience could, for a long time, but do you mind if I let folks know again that they can see you on You Can't Take It With You, which is where? Where is it?
It's at the Longacre Theater. It's 48th Street between 7th and 8th, and it's the best of Broadway. It has the biggest cast of a straight play of top-of-the-line Broadway actors, all bringing their A game, and more of them on the stage at one time than you will ever see again.
Elizabeth Ashley, you honor us by being with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All the best. Stay right there.
Stay right
with us. More great television broadcasting here from the Tisch WNT studio at Lincoln Center. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Rebecca Alexander is the author of a book called Not Fade Away. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you with us. Tell folks a little bit about you. You have a rare genetic mutation called Usher Syndrome type 3, which is?
So Usher Syndrome is a condition that causes you to lose both your vision and your hearing. And there are 3 types. There's type 1, 2, and 3. And type 1 is where you're born completely deaf and you're losing your vision. Type 2 is where you're born with a specific amount of hearing loss and you're losing your vision. And type 3, which is what I have, is the mildest onset and the most recently identified form, and that's the progressive loss of both vision and hearing.
But what's interesting is that you are, even though this is that, you get 13 years of age, this started?
Around 12, yeah, 13.
Okay. You are an extreme athlete. You have 2 master's degrees from Columbia University. You're a psychotherapist. And this book, the main message is what?
That's a good question. I think, you know, the main message in my book is definitely not to preach, but it's to really let the world know that no matter what you live with, whether it's any type of physical or emotional or psychological condition, that you're not alone, that we all have something, and we're all doing our best to live our lives. And this is my experience, and I hope that in my experience and in the challenges that I've faced, that people will find things that resonate with them, things that they can relate to, and really have a sense of knowing that there are other people who struggle with things like them, even if it's a different condition.
It's curious to me because I tell you that the way I found out about you is that I saw your brother Peter, who people may know, Peter Alexander from NBC News. There's your, looking at a shot of you and your brother Peter. We were at NBC together one day. He's a regular correspondent there, very well known. I was taping something there, and he said, "You should interview my sister."
I didn't pay him for that, by the way.
He does that a lot. He's a big believer in you. And as soon as we Googled her, I said, wait a minute, she's terrific, and that's why you're here. But he started telling me about you. I said, she's too good to be true. And then I started reading this book. And I thought, you are a motivational speaker, okay? And a lot of young women and young men, others, who talk about whatever it is they're experiencing, I imagine they've convinced themselves they can't do certain things. When you meet those people, do you feel a particular responsibility to talk to them about what they might be capable of doing?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I think a lot of people oftentimes when they meet me or when they find out about Usher syndrome, they have sort of responses. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I don't feel sorry for my situation. I mean, I think we live in a world and a culture where we are constantly bombarded with messages about what we're not. We're not thin enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not smart enough, we're not rich enough, whatever it is. And so we're not reminded of all the things that we are. We're not reminded of what we have. And it's only what we have that we can use to better ourselves. So the more we focus on what we're not and what we don't have and what we're not capable of, the more we end up doing things that we don't enjoy and that we don't particularly think that we're good at.
But see, that makes perfect sense to me, Rebecca. But at the same time, again, I'm going to ask you about your site so that people can put this in context. I can see everything out here. Mm-hmm. You can see what?
Good question. So a normally sighted person has 180 degrees when looking just straight ahead. So you're seeing me. I have about 10 degrees. So when I look at you, I have what's my most central vision. I have a very small sliver of vision out here. I can see my hands. You can't focus your periphery, so it's that vision in dark situations doesn't do much good. But my central vision is quite strong, but it is very, very limited.
So, in terms of what you can't versus what you can, you're competing in a very intense athletic competition. To what degree does that impact what you can do?
Well, so part of the reason why I do these extreme races is it makes me feel so able-bodied. Yes, my vision and my hearing is deteriorating, and there's really nothing I can do about that. It's something that is out of my control. And
excuse me for interrupting me. Is that true? There's nothing?
So, well, there's no treatment and there's no cure. Particularly for the vision, that's the biggest issue. I was cochlear implanted in my right ear a little over a year ago. I was an ideal candidate for that. I think we oftentimes see these YouTube videos where you see a child or a mother and they're turned on for the first time and it's so wonderful and everybody's crying and they're happy and they're smiling, which is beautiful, but the tape ends right there. And getting a cochlear implant is much more work than that. You have to relearn how to hear digitally. It's a long, laborious listening therapy process. It's worthwhile. For me, it's been tremendously worthwhile, but it's a lot of work. So for the hearing, my right ear has improved dramatically. You know, before I was implanted, I had 28% discrimination with a hearing aid. about a little over a year later, I'm already at about 92 to 94%. So it's pretty remarkable, but it was a lot of work.
We'll go back to the competing. You're competing, and you're showing me a pretty rough bruise you got the other day. Can our camera get this? I don't know if our camera... Yeah, they got it. So you're competing, I guess, in Brooklyn, you were saying the other day, in competition. Does it impact the fact that you see what you see or can't see what you see? Does it impact your ability to do what you have to do?
Well, it depends. I always have an escort runner with me. My best girlfriend, Caroline, usually ends up doing the race with me. But it's a really rigorous, like obstacle course, and it's so much fun.
Fun? That's the word. Wait a minute.
Well, exactly. And it sort of mimics what military personnel go through when they do their training. And so when you are, particularly for me, when you are losing your vision and hearing, but all other parts of my body work just fine, just like anybody else's. So when I'm able to strengthen other parts of my body, it makes me feel so able-bodied. It makes me feel so strong. It makes me feel so much more in control and like I have, a greater sense of power. But this bruise is not because of my vision or because of my hearing loss. It's because my glove slipped when I was doing the monkey bars and I fell onto the rope, whatever it was, and that was it. It could have happened to anybody.
Did you always know, back at 12 or 13, go all the way back then, did you know that you were this tough?
All I knew at 12 or 13, that was when I was really told mostly about the vision. And what I understood at the time was that I had a hard time seeing at night. I was terribly afraid of the dark. At the time, I thought I was just a real wuss. But I think it was...
I'm looking at a shot.
Yeah. And I think it's probably because I just didn't see very well. Right. But, as a 12-year-old, as a 13-year-old, you can't possibly comprehend what it means when someone tells you that you will be blind as an adult. First of all, being 20 feels like light years away. What does being an adult even mean? So I think it was something that I gradually came to understand with time. And I think I was very fortunate to have a lot of support around me.
Describe that support.
So my parents became actively involved with the Foundation Fighting Blindness. And at an early age, they brought me, I was 15 when I went to my first Foundation Fighting Blindness conference, and I saw all of these people with canes and guide dogs, and it was hard for me to understand that that would one day be me. And I don't think I really did understand that until many years later. But it was so good to have that exposure at a young age. I felt so good going to these conferences and being able to lead a blind person or a visually impaired person because I had so much more vision at the time.
Excuse me, Rebecca, what is it like for you? And by the way, the name of the book is Not Fade Away. You don't mind if I plug it, do you? Okay. Not Fade Away, a memoir of senses lost and found by Rebecca Alexander. Rebecca, what is it like for you when you connect with someone for whom they are losing any sense of faith or hope that their life can have value or quality because they are experiencing real physical, emotional, health-related struggles? What's it like for you to connect?
I think that I think we can all relate to each other in some level. And I think that sometimes we have this overwhelming need or feeling that we need to try to fix something or help someone to make their situation better. And I find that for me, in dealing with people who struggle with whatever their condition is, part of the experience is being able to be there with them and to listen. I can't help anyone who doesn't want to help themselves, for instance, in my private practice.
As a psychotherapist?
Exactly. So there's only so much.
Oh, yeah, by the way, that's the other thing you do. You're a psychotherapist in the midst of all this, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Right. So I think that it's difficult to change someone's attitude if they don't want to try or believe, but it's definitely possible. And I think that part of what makes it possible is by connecting with others. You have to know and find the community out there that deals with issues that you're also dealing with. There is a community for just about everyone and everything, no matter how orphan your disease is. And mine is an orphan disease. And you have to network because it can be very isolating. And the more you isolate yourself, the more disconnected you become from life and the world and hope.
I want to ask you this. The subtitle, A Memoir of Senses Lost and Found. What have you found?
Well, my sense of smell and my sense of touch and my sense of taste are really heightened. The smell thing is definitely my strongest sense. Not always a good thing here in New York City, particularly in the summer. But I can, the silliest things, like I can recognize perfumes and colognes very easily. If somebody says that they've stopped smoking, I can smell a cigarette on them that they smoked 2 days ago. I mean, things that are totally not important.
Can we show the picture? I have to do the skydiving picture. If you have it, go with it right now. It has nothing to do with smell, but I just know we have it, and I just need to see it.
Yeah.
Come on, you gotta. What's up with that?
Well, I was very fortunate to be able to travel to Queenstown, New Zealand, which is the extreme sport capital of the world.
Right.
And so I did bungee jumping and skydiving. I figured, when in Rome, let's do it. It was a blast. It was definitely, that is really living in the moment. There's no other kind of feeling like just totally pushing yourself out of an airplane.
You're doing the furthest thing from fading away, I'll tell you that. And I'm so glad your brother Peter recommended that we bring you in. He's a good producer. He knows a good guest. I want to thank you for joining us. Not Fade Away, a memoir of senses lost and found. Rebecca Alexander, you honor us by being with us, and you inspire so many. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Meridian Health, Felician College, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Cone Resnick, Investors Bank, the New Jersey Education Association, and by the Ohlendorf Center. Promotional support provided by NJ Biz, All Business, All New Jersey, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and its monthly magazine, New Jersey Business. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
I started feeling this pressure in my chest.
The doctors and the nurses that were attending to me, that they were of such excellence.
They were wonderful. They put my mind at ease.
I owe my life to them. I don't think I really would be here if it wasn't for them.
Because of the way they handled everything, I think that's really why I'm here.
I felt that I was in good hands.